Oh, Bears fans. I told you what was going to happen if you lost. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. No, I don't really have a voice. Yes, I'm really exhausted, but I was not missing this video. Grossi, and today we're going to break down the week 1 game between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, in which the Green Bay Packers won with a score of 38-20. And I just want to make it very, very, very clear. If you have watched this channel before, usually there's a gag, right? That's how I'll make fun of other teams. And I've drank a pitcher of Viking tears, right? I've done little skits, but I usually keep it pretty light and pretty fun. And I'll throw some jabs, but it won't be crazy. Yeah, no, this one, Bears fans, turn back, because it's not going to be fun. And it's not just because we won. No, because I don't want to be so braggadocious and being oh, look. But the amount of trash talk, the amount of crap that Chicago Bears fans, not all of them, but a lot of them, talked this entire offseason. You brought in DJ Moore. I celebrated that. I was damn, you just got a really, really good player. Went and addressed offensive line in the draft. I was oh, this is going to work out really well for you. But no, that wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. It was Justin Fields. He's going to be MVP contention. Oh, the Packers, last place. Jordan Love, absolute bust. Just nasty, vindictive stuff. And I said, you guys are talking a lot because I don't know if Jordan Love is going to be good, right? I have no idea. Nobody knew coming into week 1 if Jordan Love was going to be good. There was reasons for excitement. I've talked about them on this channel, but there was also reasons for concern. Hell, Christian Watson didn't play today. But for Bears fans to talk all that crap, and this is what their team showed up with, that's what they did? You're gonna hear it. And let me just be very, very clear too. It's week 1. Week 1 means absolutely nothing. But for Bears fans, no. The roast is happening today. But before we do that and we get into the roast of the Bears fans, I do want to talk about the actual game because there was a ton of really exciting stuff here. So heading into this game, as I just talked about, Christian Watson, he was out with a hamstring injury, and that caused a lot of concern. Romeo Doubs was questionable today. And heading in, it was all going to be about, okay, 2 main things. How is our defense? Joe Barry has said this could be a very different defense. And we're Joe, we've heard that 18 times before. But we were can this finally be the year where the pass rush is there, where all of this capital that we have invested into the defense with the draft and with money, can it all come together? And that was the first thing. The second thing was, of course, Jordan Love. Let's see. He's had 1 NFL start against the Chiefs when Rodgers got COVID. He came in for the Eagles game. He came in for a Lions game, but he's barely done anything except a few preseason games. And how is Jordan Love going to perform on the road week 1 against a division rival? Well, the answer to both those questions where they were pretty damn good. Let's start off with the defense, because the defense made me very happy. Because there was concerns, of course, about our secondary, especially safety, because we just really didn't address it in the draft, except for some really late round picks. On top of that, we brought in some undrafted free agents, but safety by far was one of our weakest, if not our weakest positional group. And as a whole, that defense played really well. And what it started with was getting after the quarterback. That pass rush was constantly in Justin Fields' face. That first half, they were going after him, and they were this close from multiple sacks in that first half. But Justin Fields, he's really tough to bring down. But at the end of the day, that defense did pretty damn well. 4 sacks on Justin Fields. On top of that, an interception. Their number one receiver today was Darnell Mooney, who caught 4 passes for 53 yards and a touchdown. Cole Kmet, limited. DJ Moore, 2 catches, 25 yards. The run game wasn't much better. Justin Fields definitely used his legs. He got 59 yards. He was their leading rusher. We allowed a total of 122 rushing yards, but at the end of it, it really didn't matter. The Packers basically dictated how this game was going to go. And there was definitely some nerves because the Packers struggled with moving the ball after that first series. And then they started getting a little bit more into it because they gave the ball to Aaron Jones, but we'll talk about that. But overall, the defense got constant pressure on Justin Fields. It made him uncomfortable, and that offensive line of the Bears looked horrendous. So I'm not going to be like, oh my God, our defense is incredible now, because I think the O-line is bad. They're missing Tevin Jenkins as well, but really loved what I saw from Joe Barry's defense to start this year. Now, let's talk about Jordan Love, because that man had himself a game. 15 for 27, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, was only sacked 1 time, 0 interceptions. He was efficient. On 3rd down, he was incredible. There was times where it was 3rd and long. Even on that first series, the Packers, they made a really great defensive stop on 4th and 1. They get the ball on the short field, and Jordan Love, they struggled to move the football. And then 3rd down, they convert. And you just see that happen over and over again. And he was just cold, ice running through the veins. And that is what I loved. The offensive line did an amazing job of protecting Jordan Love. And you saw this during the preseason. And you're like, damn, this is even without Bakhtiari. If this offense can give Jordan Love this kind of time, this is pretty damn good. So even without our main receivers, we did pretty darn well. Our main receiver was Aaron Jones, who caught 2 balls for 86 yards and a tutty. Aaron Jones, by the way, had a great day. Not only did he have that receiving touchdown, he also carried the ball 9 times for 41 yards and had an additional rushing touchdown. After that, you had Luke Musgrave with 50 yards, Jaden Reed with 48 yards, Romeo Doubs with 4 catches, 1 being for a touchdown. And this was just a well-balanced offense. The Packers did try to get cute, and they didn't run a lot with Aaron Jones, even though it was effective on that first series. But then they went right back to him at the start of the next half, and they found pay dirt. Unfortunately, Aaron Jones did suffer a hamstring injury, but hopefully that's nothing serious. Jaden Reed was banged up, but then he wound up coming back into the game. But the offense looked good. And again, it's against the Bears, and their defense is a rebuilding defense, so I'm not going to say anything yet. It's only week 1 in the NFL. But you could not have a better start for the Packers. On top of that, Matt LaFleur still remains undefeated against the Chicago Bears. He is 9-0. And this was a historic day for the Packers franchise. This was the 3rd time since the early 1990s that they've had a different week 1 quarterback besides Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. That is incredible. It was the longest streak in the NFL. The Packers have been very fortunate QB, and I know that there's some NFC North fans out there that were looking at today and go, crap, they don't have another one, right? And we don't know yet, but for Jordan Love as a young QB to do what he did today, he was efficient. He wasn't godly or anything like that, but he was calculated. On 3rd down, he was really good. And on top of that, he didn't turn the ball over. There was a couple of risky throws, and he missed a few guys, but for the most part, super happy with how Jordan Love performed today. And so the Packers are on the road again next week against the Falcons, who looked pretty darn good against the Panthers. And it's just week by week. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully Christian Watson is going to be healthy. But the Packers are 1-0. The Lions and them are at the top of the division because the Vikings lost to the Buccaneers. And of course, the Packers beat the Bears. And again, week 1, nothing is set in stone. But week by week, let's see how Jordan Love progresses. We're going to get weapons back like Christian Watson. And yeah, as I have said, this team could be pretty good this year, especially in a weak NFC. Meanwhile, the Bears. The Bears, they struggled. They had opportunities in this game. That first half was super duper close. It was 10-6 at the end, which, by the way, Carlson, who we were worried about all training camp, nailed a 50-plus yarder before the end of the half, and he was perfect on extra points as well, so a huge shout out to him. But The Bears struggled. Their defense did not look good. There was almost no pressure on Jordan Love, which again, I think is because of their rebuilding defense, but also because of the O-line play, because they were really good. The Bears offensive line struggled. Justin Fields, I don't know what the game plan was for him, because every time he ran, he found some success. It was tough for the Packers to bring him down, but it just seems like they weren't utilizing his strengths. They never really got a ground game going besides Justin Fields running. And it just seemed like he couldn't get comfortable back there in a pocket, which again, Packers defense, also bad Bears O-line. And I think the Bears are still going to be a better football team than they were last year, but this kind of stuff, they got to figure it out. And I got to be very honest with you, before I rip into them, like, I feel bad for some Bears fans who are just like, hey man, I hope my team is good this year, because their team showed up at home. There was a ton of momentum heading into this game. It was all about the Bears and what they were going to do and all this stuff. And they didn't do anything. It wasn't a close competitive game where it was neck and neck and they were fighting one another. No. At the end of the third quarter, this game was pretty much over, and it just got worse as the game went along. So for the Bears, it's a super disappointing result, because you had a lot of hope and optimism of like, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers is finally gone. Now we can actually beat the Packers. And then this game happens, in which the Packers put up almost 40 points, and they don't even have their best wide receiver. And I'm not trying to be a douche. That'll come later. But right now, like, legit, the Bears, this is going to be like a, hey, let's get this fixed, because Luke Getsy, in the beginning of last year, they weren't doing right by Justin Fields either, and they started getting a little bit better as the season went along. At least Justin Fields looked better, and I feel like that's what you want to see as a Bears fan. You want to see Justin Fields continue to grow. You need an O-line to protect him, but you bring in guys like DJ Moore. I think Darnell Mooney's a very underrated guy. Cole Kmet could have a really big season. It's just he has to have time to throw the ball and become a better pocket passer. And until then, you got to cater to his strengths. And so the Bears were unable to do that today. And yeah, it's going to be a disappointing finish for them. So there was my empathy for a hot second, Bears fans. But I want to talk to the other Bears fans. The Bears fans who talked all this crap all offseason about a poverty franchise that we were going to be, prepare to suck for years, which, by the way, it's still just week one. We don't know. But hot diddly damn, you done talked a lot of crap, and now it's time to pay up, because I can only imagine the optimism and confidence you had of like, man, the bad man is finally gone. You know, the guy who ran into your end zone and said, I own you, I still own you, and you couldn't even have a retort because you knew it was true. And now a brand new QB in Jordan Love, who has only started one NFL game, just came into your house and beat you. And it wasn't just him, it was the rest of the defense. It was an entire team effort. The Green Bay Packers, the bane of your existence, came into your house after you reloaded. You had the first overall pick, you traded away, you get your O-lineman, you get your DJ Moore, and we still kicked your ass. And I just think that maybe it wasn't just one singular player, because you might say, you know what? We didn't see it. Maybe Aaron Rodgers transferred the deed, right, to Aaron Jones. Maybe another Aaron is owning you, or maybe even to Jordan Love. But no, because the God's honest truth is, and this is what you're finally going to realize, it's not just Aaron Rodgers who owns you. Bears, the Packers do. And until you don't show up at your house and let us walk in, shoes on, and take a dump on the dining room table, that's how it's always going to be. Yeah, that felt good. But let me know what you thought down in the comments below. You know, I saw me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy, all social media, see down below. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and of course, YouTube. And a big shout and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.